building 606.
Hi, again, this is Amy Brownell. I'm with the San Francisco Health Department. I'm not with the Navy. I'm sitting up here just because we wanted to have Lily and Nina. We spread out on the bus. You could ask us questions. I just wanted to mention the road we were just on. That was UC2 and also part of UC1. And then that big building to the right of us was building 813. That's on parcel D2. Those are owned by OCII. But other than what you saw, there's traffic traveling on it and equipment storage. There's no development activity happening. Soil storage, you can see that too. No development activity happening because the Navy has to go back into those parcels and investigate the Tetra Tech issues. So even though OCI owns them, there's no development activity on them. OCII is the Office of Community Investment and Infrastructure. It's a part of the city.
And is that true that all of the parcels that they, I guess the parcels that they own, that there's no building right now at all on them while you guys are investigating?
So those three parcels I just mentioned, D2, UC1, and UC2, there is no development happening. It's just the storage of soil, equipment, and traffic. On parcel A, parcel A1 Hilltop, we call it, and parcel A2 Hillside, there was never any Tetra Tech work up there. So that is not implicated in the fraud. So that building is still happening in those areas. It has been ongoing. You can see the buildings being built up there, and the people, the residents that have already been built, the residents are living there.
And is that owned by OCII or by the Navy still?
Those A1 and A2 were transferred to OCII, but then, of course, as people buy condos and townhomes, then they own, the HOAs own their pieces of those properties. So it's being split up as buildings are built and people own them.
Thank you.
And then for the cleanup, is that true? You guys recruit from the community here. You donate monies into the community for to recruit from the community to help clean up this area. How does that work?
I'm not sure the question. Let me answer that when we get to the next stop. I wanted to point out the building to our left. This is kind of stands out. It's out in the middle of nowhere here. This is the last building that was constructed during Navy activities back in 1970s or so. They built the building. They even installed bunk beds inside. You can see inside the windows bunk beds, but they never actually installed the windows. And then the Navy base closed down, and it's since then been kind of a ghost building. The one thing we did hear from one of the people on the former bus tour was that this person from the Coast Guard, they were stationed here for a few weeks, and they did stay in that building without windows.
What area is this one? Look at this bill. Can you tell me?
All right. I'm going to answer the question, and I'll talk about this stop. What was your question, ma'am? Something about donating money for cleanup?
Yes. Are you guys recruiting from the community to help clean up this area? Who cleans up this area here?
Yeah, who cleans up the area? So we do hire contractors.
Okay.
Most contractors try to source to the local community. That's something that we encourage.
Okay.
But we don't hire individuals ourselves with the Navy.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So this is a new stop, and if you look on your map, we're at number 5. And what we're looking at here, off to kind of straight down the bus. I'm sorry, there's not a better angle for the bus here. You may be able to see it as we pull out. Is you can see straight down a new wall that's been built. And that wall is on the interior. You can see a large concrete wall. It's fairly long, and then you can see some wooden structures that where they're forming the rest of the wall. I know it's not easy to see right now. As we go, we're going to have to back up and pull around. We'll give you some time to look at this. So that's parcel E2. And if you look on the very last page of your handout, you can see a map of parcel E2. And that wall is depicted on that map as the near shore slurry wall. And what that's there for is to prevent erosion of the cover and the remedy that we have for the landfill here, as well as tidal influence and preventing its sea level rise. So parcel E2 is you can see on this map is a landfill, and I think this is a great example of ways that we can make the existing conditions work with future development and so forth. So this is planned to be an open space. The 2-foot soil cover is going across the parcel E2 landfill. There's 2 feet of soil. And then you can see there's freshwater wetlands. There's a new, we refurbished the saltwater wetlands, and there's going to be trails that go through there. The Bay Trail is right now expected to go through this parcel. So it's going to be mostly open space, natural vegetation, wetlands, and it's going to be a beautiful area for hiking and so forth. Yes. I got one right here, and then I'll take you right there. Yes.
I was curious, for the workers that are doing the cleanup, what kind of protective gear do they wear, and how is that determination made?
Yeah, so the question is for workers doing the cleanup, how do we protect them? What sort of protective gear? Typically, workers out here are wearing your normal hard hat, boots, orange vests. They also have a dosimeter on them for radiological exposure.
Okay.
To this point, we've had hundreds of workers out here, not one, maybe one time. No, we haven't had one that's ever gone over. So it's pretty low level radiological stuff we're talking about to
So
start
they're wearing
with.
street clothes.
Yeah, generally street clothes, yes.
I know in the future development there's a plan to put a bridge across to connect Candlestick Point. Is there on the map where you could show where that bridge will be?
Yeah, if you look at parcel E2, the map at the very back, and you follow the straight line that goes along the freshwater wetlands and tidal wetlands, the bridge is actually going to extend off that line across the channel. So then if you go back to the regular map, you can see once again the boundary of E2. Unfortunately, the channel is not very well. You can't see very well the channel on either one of these maps, but
Oh, it's that channel?
yeah, there's a channel. It's called Yosemite Slough.
It's right there on the far left. So the lower left corner?
Yeah, lower left corner and that pink. If you follow the straight line along the pink area, that's approximately where that.
So it's not going to be that big.
No, it's not. Well, it's going to be relatively large, but yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
From here,
Has there been radiological testing of the landfill? It used to be a Navy landfill, right?
Yeah. There has been, and after they're done with this base layer, the Navy will scan the entire surface of the landfill, as well as after they put 2 feet of additional soil on it. So it's a landfill. We know there's some radiological inside there, inside the landfill, and that's planned on being there in perpetuity.
Also, it should be noted that the California Department of Public Health, before they give their release, that once it's completed, they will go out and do their own scans on the surface as well.
Yes, that's right. You should be able to see that wall to our left right now as we're driving away, so definitely want to point that out.
expected completion date of the wall?
That should be by the end of the year, the wall itself. This particular project has another contractor coming on afterwards to complete it. So it's still at least, it's about 2 years out before the entire project's complete. You'll also see many different piles of soil. So you'll see piles of concrete and asphalt and different things. Those are all just awaiting being tested before being shipped to an appropriate recycling facility or landfill. All right, we talked about dust. The green item to our left here, it's green and tan. That is a washer for trucks. Before trucks leave the base, they drive over some shaker plates. And then you'll notice on that truck washer, as they drive on that assembly, there's a couple of PVC pipes that spray high pressure water on the tires, removing soil and trying to really prevent any soil from leaving the site so that it doesn't turn into dust on the roads.
Look at the jackrabbit. He just running.
Okay, so we're on our last stop of the day of the tour. Thanks again for coming. What we see to our left is the portal monitor. The two white tubes in this portal monitor contain radiological sensitive equipment. And what we do is we drive a truck through those. We drive every truck that leaves the base with soil through that monitor before heading off to whatever landfill it's going to. The equipment in those two white tubes are very sensitive, typically just due to the type of material the truck's made out of. For example, an aluminum truck has a higher radiological signature than a steel truck. About one out of every 20 trucks gets the alarm goes off, and when that happens, they stop the truck. They go off to the side. They use hand scanners to try to determine what it is that's causing the alarm to go off. And if there's something inside the soil, they'll see that. They have to dump out the soil and then rescan that soil before it connects with the base.
Well, with the contaminated soil, how can we trust that it's being recorded or given out to the to District 10 or to the area here? How could we trust that that it's being recorded, that it's contaminated, or is that kept a secret, or how does that work when there is contaminated soil?
Well, when there is contaminated soil, what's the process we use to make sure that it's treated appropriately and documented? Yeah. So there is a very, very robust process for treating soil, and we take all the soil we excavate, we put it in stockpiles, it's then sampled. If there's a question that it may be radiological, we spread it out. In the past, we've always spread it out in 6 to 9 inch layers. And I don't know if you saw earlier, there was a bunch of kind of square pads, and those are the areas where we spread out the soil. We then drive a radiological scanner over the top of that, and we find anything with high levels, we remove it. That goes into special bins that are shipped off to a radiological landfill. So that's the process we use. There's a lot of oversight of that process. Currently, we have a contractor that we use for watching all of the radiological work here at Hunters Point, and they're out here whenever any work's going on.
My question is about the water body surrounding these parcels. What are the rules about being in the water or on the water?
So
Like I have a pedal board. Can I pedal around here?
Yeah, well, right now it's a Navy base and there's no access to the water here. We do have boats that go out in the water, of course. That's fine. What they plan on in the future, if they're going to allow access, I don't know. But there's no reason to think that you couldn't paddleboard out there, assuming they allow access from the base. And I don't know what they'll decide in the future.
So you mentioned if they find any high levels of radiation, oh, what is a normal amount of radiation that's just in any community? Like what is considered okay? I would say no radiation is considered what we should be looking for.
Yeah, so the question is what's normal radiation? So normal radiation exposure on a yearly basis is around 600 millirem per year. And that's due to both naturally occurring as well as man-made sources. If you, there's lots of different activities out there, watching your TV, the foods we eat, radiation is in your body. Your body's emitting radiation. So that is natural. The levels that we look at here where we start to say, okay, let's evaluate this further, is really around 4 millirem per year, above normal. So 600 is what you normally get. It really varies depending on where you are in the United States. It can be several hundred. But just to put that in perspective, one cross-country flight is around 3 millirem. So if you take one flight from California to New York, you're getting around 3 millirem of exposure. We're looking at the levels that we're looking at around 4 millirem before we start to do an action.
Good to know. Thank you.
Besides radiation, what other toxic substances are you testing for?
It really depends on where we are. At Hunters Point, we've had just about everything that you could imagine a boat maintenance facility would have. So everything from volatile organic compounds to heavy metals, things like lead in the soil. So depending on where we are, we sample for different things, because this all starts with the activities that they had here. So we look at all the activities. There's a very, once again, I'm going to say a robust program looking into everything that was done on the base to start with. And then that's where we start our sampling. We start our sampling for those types of constituents.
Sorry. So I want to ask specifically about asbestos. I was speaking to a tenant at Pacific Point yesterday morning. Her father worked out here for several years and died from asbestos poisoning. So I want to ask specifically about asbestos.
Yeah, so we do know the soil, the naturally occurring soil, has asbestos out here. Asbestos was also used, especially in the 50s and 60s and 70s, for a lot of different things. And I don't think people understood the risk involved with those. So most of the buildings that they use asbestos in, that asbestos is removed before the redeveloper just demos the building or before new people move into that building. So that's something that does occur. The soil itself, and as we talked about earlier, has naturally occurring asbestos in it, and that's what the durable cover is meant to address. All right.
Building 401.